ladies and gentlemen, now hosting the RizzoCast. Put your hands together for Steven Risotto.
What's going on, guys, and welcome. My name is Steven Risotto. I cover the San Francisco Giants for SF Bay, and I'm the host of RizzoCast, the podcast that features current and former big league players, coaches, fans, media, and others who are regarded as some of the brightest minds around the game of baseball. Today's guest is Jordan Renteria, a Bay Area-based college baseball player who is actually a one-time teammate of mine at Reardon High School. Jordan actually continued to play in college at Kenyatta College and most recently City College of San Francisco. He recently announced his commitment to Avila University in Kansas City, Missouri, where he'll embark on the NAIA ranks as a two-way player. We discussed committing to Avila, what made the program attractive, expectations of the Midwest, developing a strong work ethic, coming as a two-way player, choosing the JUCO route. I like to hype up the JUCO route on this podcast. Learning from Bay Area sports legends, so much more. This is episode 171, and let's get started. All right, and we are back with Jordan Renteria, and Jordan is nice enough to take some time out of his busy day and join the show. Jordan, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm excited to be on the show and answer some questions. Thank you for the opportunity to come on here and talk. And yeah, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said in the intro that we played together in high school, and it's kind of come full circle. And I've had a few of those guys on the pod before,
Yeah.
and it's great. And it was great to hear the news about your commitment to Avila University down there in Kansas City. Really cool stuff. What was the process in getting in touch with Avila University, and how did all of that kind of come about for you? Because it seems like a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. So how that came about was, I just had a list of schools that I had researched about that I had high interest in. And, for me, I wanted to find a program that was big in player development, that was big in winning, and that would help me grow not only as a player on the field, but also as a young man off of the field as well. And just, a program that just has an established culture that wants to win. And, it's just basically just what I was looking for. And Avila, out of all the schools that I talked to, um, that's what they had the offer, the most. I did go out there on a recruiting visit probably about a month ago now, and I met with the coaches out there and the staff out there. I was out there for about 3 or 4 days, got to tour the campus, the facilities, and whatnot. Funny enough, I actually got to throw a bullpen, and I did take some swings in the cage in front of them as well. That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, kind of like a mini tryout, I guess you could say. So that was pretty exciting. And man, like I overall enjoyed my experience there. We got heavily deep into their player development, what they do for their players, nutrition, weight room, expectations in the off season, expectations during the season, the fall. They had lists of everything they did. They had um, everything documented in Google Sheets, schedules, just everything was so organized. I can tell that they're a program on a mission. And, what I really liked is that, the past couple of years, they've been kind of struggling a little bit, but they're starting to hit their stride as a program. Now they reached their conference tournament, this past spring, went all the way to championship and went to Great Bend. And they were in the tournament. And for me, experiencing playoff baseball is something I haven't done yet. And that is something that I want to be a part of. And so I just felt like having gone there, in person, talking to the coaches, I met some of the players on the team. We went out to eat. We went to a Royals Indians game. That was really, really fun. And just being able just to hear their experiences as players about the program, the coaches, the one-on-ones with them, I felt like that's where I wanted to be. They have everything that I'm looking for in my next program, in my next spot. And so they just, like I said, they had everything I was looking for. And that's how I stumbled across Avila.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned a few things there that stand out that I kind of want to follow up on. You mentioned player development and winning and how those are two things that they kind of highlight in their program. And obviously you going out there, and I'm going to follow up on that too in just a sec, but you going out there and being able to, be out in Kansas City and, even before or after, you probably had more than enough time to kind of research the school and the program and hear from the coaches and hear from everybody. What was in particular, what did you notice about their philosophies on player development and winning that kind of made it attractive? Because I know a lot of teams kind of preach that, but what made this program different from those two attributes than other programs?
I would say they made it specific to the player. They made it specific towards you. So, they build your profile. They have it in a Google Doc, in a Google Sheet. And they also have certain technologies in the weight room, also with iPads, as far as velocity based training is also a part of their player development. And they just track your progress in everything you do in the weight room, on the field. They have film for every player throughout their fall, their spring season, and they really just track your progress really well. They also give you tips on nutrition, and this is all specific towards you. You know what I mean? Whatever your goals are in the weight room, your nutritional goals, your dieting, your conditioning, they basically create your own player profile. And for me, thus far in college, I haven't had that. I haven't been introduced to that. And just being able to see, them show me examples of guys that are already there that have these specific profiles, as far as their development goes, whether, I'll give some examples, whether it goes from, certain as pitchers, med ball drills and certain core exercises, as hitters, certain T drills, certain hitting drills, philosophies that fit within their program. If a hitter is struggling, let's say a hitter for is 0 for his last 10, and he's struggling hitting curveball. Excuse me. Whether he's 0 for his last 10 and struggling to hit a curveball, they'll look at film from that player and be like, well, here's what we see. Maybe in certain counts, this is where you're struggling to hit a curveball. You know what I mean? And they find all of those things, the good, the bad, the ugly. They create your profile, and they help you develop and sharpen your tools, sharpen your skills. One thing I really love too, they are very, very big on the mental game. And I personally think that is very important. Just my personal opinion, I believe the game is really more mental than physical. And the reason why I believe that is because you always have to think next play mentality, next pitch mentality, next AB mentality, because the game is already fast as is. And, they have like a mental strength coach, and that, they have at the school and that they use. Um, and, players can also go there, and whatever struggles they have, that coach helps them with whatever they need help with. And just overall, like, they care about their players. They really do. They take care of their players really well, from what I've heard, and they they take huge, huge pride in developing, whether it's incoming freshmen, whether it's transfers, guys that have already been there. They want everyone to be on the same page. Everyone has one big goal, which they say is Great Bend. And like I said, the player development is one of the biggest things that they pride themselves on. And, just from all the documents that they showed me that I seen, all the video that I seen, the way they break down film and the way they break down, games and guys, whether they're hitting, if they have hot streaks, the things they did in those hot streaks, the things they did in their slumps, pitchers, whether they did great in certain AB at certain counts and certain at bats of certain guys or didn't do. Just everything to a T about you they develop you. They cover everything. And that was really, really impressive. I've never seen that pretty much ever. And I thought that was really, really important, for me, just being able to go to a program that cares about their players, that really wants to develop their players, and that just takes pride in getting everyone better. And I just thought, like I said, that was very important to me.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. And you mentioned that you traveled to Kansas City, and I did see it on your Instagram, and you hung out at a Royals game. Had the chance to, I guess, see a little part of the Midwest. What impressed you about taking that trip and knowing that you would be a new resident to, I guess, that part of the country? Because, you know, you're a California kid,
Yeah.
and the Midwest for a lot of people could be a culture shock. So do you see any you know, any ideal scenario where that might happen, where you would be well adjusted, or since you've made that trip before, maybe it wouldn't be as much of an adjustment? What was or what are you anticipating, I guess, living in the Midwest, because it's a lot different than it is here.
It is. And I would say this, what really impressed me the most was just how green it is, I will say too. Like when I was flying in and I landed, in California, it's not, in certain areas, it's not a whole lot of green. We don't get a whole lot of rain, and we've been having a drought and whatnot. So just seeing the environment itself, very green, that was really a shock to me. I would say it's one of the culture shocks. The people there too, the people of the city, the people that live even in the outskirts and all the suburbs, they're very nice. They're very welcoming. No one's rude. No one has road rage like they do in California. You have strangers opening and closing the door for you. You go to a grocery store and a person comes up to you and is like, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they have a whole conversation with you. And it's like the people there are just so wholesome. They are just so kind, and it's a really great environment. And I would say, another thing that I'll probably have to get used to is the winters there too. I've been warned about the winters, the snow, how cold it gets there. That's something new for me, obviously being, San Francisco, born and raised, don't have snow. So, that's one thing I have to get acclimated to. The barbecue out there was really, really good. Kansas City is known for the barbecue. And, I will say that the spots that I went to, they were pretty solid. I didn't get to go to some other really famous spots. The one famous spot that I do remember that I went to was Kansas City Joe's. Kansas City Joe's. I heard that was a really popular spot in the city that everyone knows about. It was pretty solid. So the food, I'm a big foodie person. I'm a big foodie person. So the food there, and I love barbecue. So that was one thing I really loved too. Another thing I liked is that it's kind of like a small city. It's not like San Francisco where it's super crowded and congested. Everything is spread out. There's a lot of space. And that's another thing I really liked. Just being somewhere where it's not just so crowded. And like I said, the environment, it's really laid back, it's really chill, it's slower pace of living, slower pace of life out there. And I really think that fits my personality too, because I feel like my personality is I'm chill, I'm laid back, and for the most part, except when I'm on the diamond. But that was another thing too, just finding an environment as well that I know that would fit my personality, that I know that I would love. And just being there for the couple days I was like, yeah, this place is for me. And I truly felt like it. Yeah, I truly felt like it. I got out one night to explore, downtown and whatnot, walked around, got to check everything out down there. It was pretty nice, pretty chill. I met some cool people from other cities, other states. I met, it's funny enough, my Uber driver that drove me downtown went to Avila not too long ago. So, small world. So, we had a great conversation too. And, like on the plane ride back home, I met this woman from Kansas City that knew about Avila as well. And she told me a little bit about the city more. I loved what she told me about the city that I didn't know. And same thing with the Uber driver. Shout out to him. Um, but I just felt like, not only with the school, but just with the whole area in general, it was really nice. And actually, Avila, where Avila is at, it's about 2 to 3 minutes from the state line of Kansas. And so when I went over to Kansas, we went to Overland Park in Leawood. And fun fact, one of the coaches actually drove me by the area where Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce live, and it's a very rich area in Kansas. And they have a lot of stuff over there. I mean, I saw, hot air balloons, people doing hot air balloons. They had indoor skydiving, bowling. They had a Lululemon, an Apple store, a Trader Joe's. It was a very wealthy area. They had a lot of restaurants, barbecue spots. They had a, Tesla factory. So I was like, wow, this place is like it's really, really like popping over here. Like it's really upscale. And then, even the suburb that Avila is in. It's a middle class area. It's pretty nice and very chill, very laid back on the outskirts of Kansas City in the suburbs, which fits my personality, fits my style. And one thing that was really interesting was I saw a cornfield for the first time. And that was really weird. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It was very interesting seeing that too. So just seeing a little bit of like the farming culture out there too was really cool. Um, but yeah, man, I mean like it's just really chill. It's really laid back out there. I love the vibe of the city. The people out there are amazing. The food out there is amazing. And, the coaching staff out there is amazing. The players I met, they're very welcoming. They're amazing. There's a lot of California guys out there too. Some guys from the Bay Area, LA, San Diego area. So that's great as well. But yeah, man, I mean, like, it was just an overall really great experience. It was everything that I was looking for in my next stop. And, like I said, I just had to jump on the offer.
Yeah, I feel like we've had similar experiences because it's funny. I have family in Nebraska, in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a little bit above Kansas City. And when I got picked up from the airport by my Uber driver, he had played football for the Cornhuskers at
Wow.
university. So everybody just kind of stays around there and they hang out and they don't leave. So it's a pretty cool environment to be in. And we were talking a lot about, he was trying to get into podcasting and I was giving him some tips and everything. It was a pretty funny but yeah, they're really nice down there. They're really cool people down there in the Midwest, and that's cool that you had the barbecue experience too. Now I got to know what you ate. What was the barbecue? What was the order for Jordan Renteria?
Man, so the places that I went to, I strictly tried like the brisket sandwiches.
Of
I
course, yeah.
unfortunately I didn't get to try any ribs yet and links and all that, but hey, I have plenty of time now. Now that I'll be going there, I definitely will,
Maybe too much
try
time
all
though.
that. Yeah, too much time. Correct, too much time. I did try a lot of the brisket sandwiches at the various spots that I went to. I can't recall every single spot that I went to, but like I said, Kansas City Joe's is one of the most famous spots from what I was told. Place was line out the door. Yeah, so it was very legit. I would say very legit. Really fat sandwich. I'd rate it probably about a 9 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good. You put some of that. You put some of they had like spicy barbecue sauce and regular and different heat levels and me, I like spicy food. I like heat. I'm not afraid of any heat. So I put that on there and one of the coaches was with me and I like took one bite of it. I put it down and it was like this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, it was really good. I didn't get to try anything else, but I will in due time though, and I will make sure to have a report on that.
Yes, you got to keep the next time we visit, you got to keep the audience updated on what you have next down there in
Definitely will.
Kansas City. From an individual standpoint, like what do you feel like you could bring to this team? I mean, you can answer that probably in a baseball sense, in a personal sense. What do you feel like you bring to, I believe they're the Eagles, correct? What do you feel like you bring to the Eagles?
I feel like what I bring is versatility, I am going in as a two-way and
I was going to ask about that actually, so that's good to
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, I feel like I could bring versatility. I'm a competitor. I really want to win. And like I said earlier, I'm hungry for playoff baseball. And that is something that I want to be a part of. I really do. And I just feel like, you know, with this team, from what I've heard so far, everyone's a go-getter. Everyone puts their head down and they just grind. All these guys, they're a family, they're a brotherhood. No one leaves anybody behind. You know, everyone wants to succeed. Everybody has one goal. It's just there's no divide within the team, from the coaches to the trainers to everybody involved. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone has one big goal in mind. And that really fits like what I want to do. That really fits my competitive edge. I'm a go-getter, I'm a competitor, I work hard every single day. And just being around guys that have the same motive as me motivates me even more, makes me even more hungrier, because I want to go to battle with those guys. I want to go to war with those guys. I want to help this program win the NIA ship. I want to help this program get further than they did this past spring. And like I said, versatility to this program going in as a two-way. I really believe that, in the mound, on the mound, me at first in the box, I can really be a real threat, you know, and I really feel like I can help this team in a multitude of ways. And I feel like also giving a team, different ways it can use you really benefits the team even more, really helps the coaches even more, because they can use you in so many different ways. And I like to maximize my abilities and my talents. And, I truly do believe that, me coming in as a two-way, being versatile to the team, being a competitor, wanting to win, hungry for playoff baseball. I mean, Avila, they're gonna get all of that in me. And I'm gonna leave it all in the field, all in the weight room, blood, sweat, and tears, everything, because I am hungry for playoff baseball. I'm hungry to be on a winning program, a winning team, and I'm just really super stoked and excited.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome that you're getting this opportunity. All right, let's circle back. We'll come back, but I want to go back a little bit to the beginning for
Mhm.
little Jordan here. How did you
Yeah.
get into baseball, and how is that a game that kind of you ended up falling in love with? Because I always ask that on the podcast. How did you get into baseball? What was the story of, you as a kid? A lot of people go back to T-ball. People always have their different levels and stuff. So,
Yeah.
how did you get into baseball, and what's your story there?
So how I got into baseball was my dad. My dad is a huge part of my career. I owe everything to him, really. I remember my very, first memories was, I can't recall, maybe it was about maybe 4 years old, 3 years old, somewhere around that age. We'd be in the living room and I had a foam Giants bat, and foam little Giants ball. And he would sit on the couch or, take a knee in front of me, and I'd have the bat and I'd stand in one corner of the living room. He'd be in the other, and he would just, toss me the ball and I would swing the bat. And that's how pretty much it all started, really, was just in the living room, taking hacks and, busting through the blinds and everything. And eventually, as I got older, hitting the ball harder and harder. And, I had to broke the blinds a couple times, broke some picture frames, and then we got in the T-ball, and that's how pretty much everything started. And then, just going to the field every day, practicing on my own with my dad, him teaching me pitching, him teaching me hitting, him teaching me the mental part of the game, him teaching me about lifting, just my dad has just been, he has been the ultimate blessing in my life as far as baseball goes. I wouldn't know what I'd do without him, honestly. And like I said, whatever I do in my career going forward, however far I go, I owe everything to him. I owe all of my success to him, because it started when I was very, very young in that living room, taking those hacks, the first couple times that I could walk and stand on my own and, learn how to do stuff. And those were like my early memories, and also continuing on as I got a little bit older, as I got to understand the game more, going to Giants games, going to opening days with my dad. I was there opening day 2010. I was there at all of the parades with my dad. We went to so many opening days together, sitting, down where the bullpens used to be on the field on the third base line. I was always used to sit there with him. We'd catch foul balls, get autographs, everything. And, my dad as well, shout out Our Lady Visitation School. My dad used to coach there too. He'd coach me. He'd coach, all the baseball teams there too. And that's where everything started. Besides t-ball in South City. Shout out South City, South City baseball, always representing them. That's where a lot of my roots came from as well. And just my pops just getting me into everything that he could about baseball. Everything that he could, taking me to practices, taking me to games, coaching on teams, coaching me. You know what I mean? He's a true warrior. True warrior. He made a lot of sacrifices and still does. Still makes a lot of sacrifices for me. I am truly blessed, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. Hey, and those broken picture frames and the blinds, like it's all worth it now. Hey,
Oh, definitely.
it was contributing to something bigger. I love
Most
that. And
definitely.
you mentioned big Giants fan and going to opening days and going to parades. Um, and you and I had the chance to watch like some amazing baseball played in the early 2010s when they were winning those championships. And I think I would even put the Warriors in this category. They were winning a lot, a little bit later on too, but it
Yeah.
kind of overlapped there for a bit. Um, did you ever like notice the Bay Area just had a just a like winning seemed like it was in their DNA for a while? Do you ever feel like that kind of trickled down into your mindset when you would play, like just growing up in the Bay Area? Because it seemed like winning was all around us, right? And then here
Yeah.
you are, you playing, and you're trying to emulate these teams and players, and it's almost like there's an expectation to win because you see it happening around you. Did you ever get that feeling?
I'd say so. Yeah. For me, like all of us Giants fans, we were spoiled with the three rings, right? And the Warriors with the four. And just being able to grow up in that environment, seeing these teams win, being a part of just being a fan, being a part of a winning culture, wanting that for myself, you know what I mean? Seeing the success that they had on the field and the joy that both those teams have had winning. I want that in my career as well. I want to emulate that same passion. And yes, to answer your question, I truly do believe that did trickle down into my passion, into my career as well. I want to have that same feeling. I want to have the same feeling that, some of these teams have had, raising that trophy at the end of the NAIA tournament. You know, I want to have that same feeling of winning the Division II, winning the conference, going to playoffs. These are things in a career that you dream of doing, and all of us dream of playing playoff baseball, winning a championship. And ever since I was a kid, also my dad has instilled that in me. Learning how to be a winner, learning how to be a leader, learning to have the competitive edge and the fire, not only to have yourself get better, but also to make your teammates better around you, so that collectively as a group you all can win and eat together. And so I would say that, yes, the influences of, my teams winning, their rings and seeing them win and being part of a winning culture as a fan, I want that for myself too.
Yeah, no, for sure. And mentioning some of those teams, they had a lot of great players. And you could go from outside those teams too. Is there anybody that you grew up just like loving? Any athlete, any favorite players that you had or still have?
That is a really, really great question.
It's a really loaded question, so take your
It
time.
really is. There,
Yeah.
there's a lot of players that I love growing up. Um, I would say this, Madison Bumgarner would probably be at the top of the list. Um, in fact, he is one of my favorite Giants players, one of my favorite baseball players in general. You know, um, one of the greatest, as we know, one of the greatest postseason performances ever against the Royals, and in that whole postseason, um, he's definitely one of them. What a winner he is, and he's just an absolute dog, absolute competitor on the mound. He just, man, yeah, that guy is he's something special. Um, let's see. Who else would I say? I love Travis Ishikawa too. Travis Ishikawa was my man. I loved him as well. Um, More
Responsible for
recently
one of
here,
my favorite moments ever. Yeah.
definitely. And I would say, more recently here, Kobe. Kobe's a big inspiration. Just that Mamba mentality of getting better, winning by any means necessary, no matter who's in front of you, and just being that guy. You know what I mean? Just being fearless, being a winner, just putting in the work, putting in the hours to get better, to achieve greatness. Um, Kobe's definitely in my top as far as one of my favorite athletes too, and also has just the mentality of just being great and never stopping. And then also have to say, one of the goats, Tom Brady. Tom Brady too, man. He's not. Hey, listen, he ain't the GOAT for no reason. You know what I mean? It's just his mentality on winning, his mentality of getting his players better. I've seen videos, of him mic'd up in games, yelling at his
Oh yeah.
teammates, getting in the right spot, yelling in practice, yelling at coaches, slamming tablets on the sidelines. Just the passion he has for the game and has for winning, I feel like within myself that I have as well. Just being able to have that passion to be great, being able to have that passion and do what you love every single day and be great at it, and also help your teammates, be aware of that and help them achieve greatness in their own way so you guys can achieve greatness together. So I'd say all of those guys, because what all those guys have in common is winning. All those guys have in common is obviously the championships, but they're all fearless in their own right. They are all dogs in their own right. They are very passionate about what they do in their own. And I'm not gonna come close to any of them by any means. But what I can take away from them is understanding why they have so much passion in what they do, and just learning the competitive edge from them. And I feel like that's also, those are also reasons why I really love those guys, and I try to emulate, those same passions and the same edge within myself.
Yeah, no, some really good picks, and it took me 3 nights to watch it, but did you ever get through the Brady roast?
I did in one night.
In one night? That's
I
insane.
did in one night. It was insane. I did in one night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In 3 nights, it felt like deja vu. Like there was like there's too much overlap. Like so, I had to split it up into 3 nights just so it could just stay fresh. Um, and I don't have to hear about the Giselle every 5 seconds. Like it was getting up there a
Yeah,
little bit, but it was worth it. It was pretty good. But
definitely.
shout out to you sticking it out in one night. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, definitely not.
Um, Speaking of Brady, he went to Sarah High School, went to the wrong school.
Boo.
But that leads me into this. I mentioned we briefly played together. It was very brief. We were teammates
Yeah,
before the pandemic kind of screwed everything up. And one of the things that I remember is just the strength that you had, and like you were already a big guy, threw hard, had a lot of power, but I think like from my point of view it was only a matter of like consistency and tapping into it. And I don't know if you ever felt the same way, and I could be wrong, but it seemed like baseball really didn't ever come easy to you like it did for some people. So you kind of had to be someone that kind of worked their ass off to get to where you are now. Do you kind of feel that, you know, feel the same way of kind of the way that you've worked to kind of get to this point?
definitely do. I definitely do. I feel like, you know, to where I've gotten, you have to work hard, and there's just no shortcuts to it. I would say, like, last year, last spring, I struggled a lot. And, to get to where I am right now from where I was last spring, it took a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of hours, and if you want to be great, you have to do what you have to do to be great. You got to make sacrifices. You got to work when you're tired. You got to work when you're sick. You just have to work at all times. And, you can't make any excuses about it, because you also can't let anyone else outwork you in that same breath. And, like I said, from all of those players that I mentioned, they all worked when their body didn't feel great, they were still working. When they were sick, they were still working. And, these are the things you have to do to be great, because if you don't work at your craft at least every day, people are going to pass you up. And, a lot of coaches have told me, get 1% better every day, work on something every single day to get better. And I truly believe in that. And, like, even with the work that I've put in up until this point to be in the position I am, to get the opportunity that I have in front of me, still not satisfied. And just like Kobe said, job's not done yet. You know what I mean? And so you have to work hard to be successful in this game. You can't just not put the work in. And that's just with anything too, you know. And, like I said, working hard at everything that you do in this game is only going to help you. And like I said, there's no shortcuts to greatness.
What's there to be happy about? Job's not done yet.
Exactly.
It's all over my feed. Yeah.
It is. It definitely is.
And rightfully so. Take me through like a little bit of your high school career because I know, obviously a two-sport athlete, baseball, football. How did you kind of balance that and how did playing at Reardon, prep you for the next level?
Yeah. Well, yeah, two sport athlete, football all 4 years, baseball all 4 years. It definitely was really tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's very tough on the body. Being able to play a gruesome football season with how violent football is, not having any time off, getting right into baseball.
Yep.
Basically playing year round all 4 years, if you think about it too. And, plus playing summer baseball while I had summer workouts and spring ball, as well for football. It was very challenging, man. It was not easy. Wasn't easy. There was a lot of days where I get out of bed and I'm like, man, my body just doesn't have it today, but I have to do it. You have to do it. And like I said, it's playing two sports like that, especially with football, how hard it is on the body, it's not for the weak. And I felt like it also helped me mentally because playing two sports, balancing those two sports plus school is never easy. It's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of work, it takes a lot of grit and determination to do that. And how that set me up for now is just being able to handle all the responsibilities I need to handle, learning that, you know, um, even though you're playing two sports, you're blessed to play two sports, and that there's things in life that are harder than that, and just being able to also enjoy that process too, because not many people get to do that. You know what I mean? So that was something that I really enjoyed. And like I said, if I can go back in time, I'd do it again. I have no regrets about it. I would go back and play those two sports again if I really could. I enjoyed it a lot. And like I said, and like also to answer your question, how Reardon set me up for success at this level. Just like I said, shout out to Harlan, shout out to D Lynn, Jeff Ramirez, Coach Ramsey, and Mr. Nelson, everybody that I had, Coach Morris, Coach Jones, all those coaches that I've had, over the years at Reardon, all of them taught me a lot. And like I said, I can take a lot of lessons from all of them, you know, hard work, determination, grit, being mentally strong, being physically strong, handling your business, learning to win, learning to be a leader, on and off the field, learning to become like a young man. Like there's just so many things I can take away from each and every one of them. And, like I said, like I appreciate everything that all of them have done for me, both in football and baseball, while I was there. And they definitely helped me, get an insight and get a vision what I need to do to get to the next level, especially Harlan. I remember, I believe it was my junior year, junior and sophomore year, we'd have conversations a lot, and I'd pick his brain about his journey in the minors, his journey at Fresno State, and just he would tell me a lot of stories. He'd give me a lot of tips, and how to go about being a baseball player at the next level, at the college level, day by day, what's expected of you in the classroom, on, off the field, how to handle your business. And, I would say I was really thankful to be around him. I really, really am. And, it was a true blessing because a lot of the stuff that I've experienced thus far and I'm still going to experience, he's talked about. And, it didn't make a whole lot of sense then, but it definitely does now that I've gone through the majority of it. And, like I said, all those coaches, I've learned so many things from them. And I feel like all of them have played a part in my success as well, just helping me grow, just as a person, grow stronger and, just taking away all the lessons I can.
Yeah, I every day I think of something that one of those guys has said. Like I remember Ramsey would always say, and now watching, and covering a lot of Giants games at the ballpark, I always see bad base running. And I always go, Ramsey would say, hesitation is the biggest killer in base run. I still remember it. And Harlan, I picture him, saying, stay closed, Riz, because I would always fly open. And Coach Jeff, I still remember the visualization hitting before games. We would like
Very important.
very important.
I
And
do that. It's very important. I
yeah.
remember there was things Harlan would tell me is like throw the ball with conviction, throw it with conviction, throw it through the catcher. Like visualization, breathing. Jeff used to talk about that a lot too.
Yep.
Like there's so many things I can take away, and a lot of those things I do. A lot of those things I've implemented into my routines, the visualization, the breathing, slowing your heart rate down. Those are things I didn't do then that they taught me, but I do them now. So, like I said, I'm very grateful that they taught me those things.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you still have, because I remember you had like a split or like a fork ball. I don't know what you called it. Do you still have it?
I do. I do. It's a splitter. I still have it. Yep. I still have it in
Yeah.
my arsenal.
Disgusting. Just disgusting. Um, excuse me. At some point, I think like, we kind of all become like self-aware of like what our overall skill set is. And like just as an example, I had an idea that 65 miles an hour wasn't going to translate to the next level for me.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, let's do something else. But you and like others that have gone on to play college baseball, you kind of have confidence in your skill set, that it would play at the next level. Was that the plan for you all along, is to play baseball at the college level?
Definitely is. It definitely was a goal of mine, since probably my freshman year of high school. And even as a kid, even I have dreams of playing professionally, whether that be here in the States, whether that be overseas, or if I'm blessed enough, make it to the league. But just being able, before you even get there, just being able to play college ball too is also just a part of the dream, also part of the journey. And like I said, as a kid growing up, you always watch the college World Series, and I always was like, man, like I'd like to be there one day. I'd like to be playing at a college, having my name announced, being in a big time situation. There's certain situations and things that you dream of and you see yourself, you want to become like. And, playing college ball is definitely something that has been, a dream of mine, a goal of mine to do for a very long time now. And now that, I'm experiencing it in my own way, very uniquely, um, it's a dream come true for me too. Because, not many people get to do it. And, like the saying says, if it's easy, everybody would do it. And I will tell you this, like so far in college, my experience is it's very, very tough. It's very cutthroat. Any day you can get cut from a team, any day, any day. And, at this point, you're basically treating it like a job. You basically are. And, you have to, because it's just so cutthroat. It's so competitive. There's a lot of studs up here. There's a lot of great talent. And one thing I will mention is that a lot of people like to kind of like crap on JUCO, be like,
I was
"Oh,
just
JUCO
about
is
to go there.
better."
Yes, just about to go there. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, all good. Yeah, a lot of people like to be like, "Oh, JUCO ball, it's whatever." They're all into NCAA D1, D2, D3. And they're like, "Oh, if you go JUCO, you ain't gonna make it nowhere." I tell you, in the past 2.5 years, 3 years that I've been a part of it, it's a lie. There is so much good talent in JUCO. So much good talent. I tell you, this past spring, I probably saw maybe about 10 pitchers that threw like 90 plus. And I mean, like, they know how to pitch. They know, and they have secondary pitches, and they have, there are other pitches in their arsenal that are really good. And I kind of like scratch my head, and I'm kind of like, how are they in JUCO? And I've
A
seen
lot of them not
guys
even filled out yet. Yeah.
exactly, and I could see guys like come across guys that I've pitched against in JUCO that like on the season they hit like 25, 30 bombs, and I'm just like, wow. And like I said, like I've played JUCO ball up until this point. I've seen so much great talent. I've played teams down in SoCal. I've played teams all the way up north. I've played teams in the Bay, and I've seen so much great talent in JUCO. And like I said, I feel like JUCO ball is getting, as the years go on, I feel like it's getting more and more like noticed. I feel like there's a lot of guys from JUCO that are starting to go D1 each year, and it's getting put on the map. I would say too, it really is. And also, shout out Eric Sims, JUCO Bandit,
Yep.
JUCO Bandit. Love that guy. That guy is awesome. But I really feel like JUCO ball gets overshadowed by the NCAA a lot, and I can understand why. But I don't want everyone to forget that JUCO ball isn't just like, oh, it's whatever. Like, no, there's guys in here that are dogs. There's guys in here that can go play at the D1 level. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And the talent. There's so much talent at so many teams. Just not only across Cali, but just across the country. JUCO. You got teams in JUCO that are nationally ranked teams, number one, number two, number three in the country. Like you got dogs in JUCO all over. And so, like I said, if guys get to experience JUCO ball, I definitely would say get your experience playing JUCO ball too, because it's definitely very, very eye opening. It's great baseball. It's very competitive, and the talent you're going to see, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked.
Yeah.
It's great baseball.
Yeah, people got to stop with the empty narrative that JUCO is last resort.
Yeah,
It's a stepping stone, and there's a lot of player development that happens. And it's not a choice that anybody should be ashamed of making. Even if they don't have any offers coming out of high school, it's certainly an unbelievable way to get better.
yeah,
And anytime anybody comes on with a JUCO background on this podcast, I always mention it, and they always say the same thing. Nobody's ever shit on JUCO on RizzoCast. It hasn't happened. It is an unbelievable path for sure, and there's more players, like you said, more players than ever that are cracking the big leagues who have some sort of JUCO background, and that is a fact. So,
too.
um, yeah, good on you for touching on that. And you had the chance to dip your feet in two JUCO programs, Kenyatta College, City College of San Francisco, both pretty strong baseball programs. What do you take away from each of those stops, and how is the learning curve there for each of them?
Yeah. So, what I take away from both of those stops, with Kenyatta, I was there my true freshman year. If people don't know, I'll give a little story on that. I was there my true freshman year. In the fall, I got hurt with my throwing shoulder. I tore my labrum, partially tore my deltoid, in my shoulder, my throwing shoulder. Had to have surgery, so I redshirted that year. But what I will say about Kenyatta is that's a really great program. Really, really great program. They have a winning culture there. Also, their player development is just insane. Like they have everything organized to a T. The way they go about their work every day, like as soon as you walk through the gates and you got to the dugout, you saw the practice plan, it was go time. It's time to go to work. And everything that we did there was just organized. Everything we did there was with a winning mentality, no horsing around. And like I said, I was there, for a brief period of time. But what I take away from there is just, having the work ethic, get after it every day mentality. And I would say that's also where I got my first taste of being a part of a program that's a part of the winning culture. That's where I first got my taste of it. Being able to redshirt there and just kind of watch the whole process play out. And then, shortly thereafter, I transferred to City College. I've been there, the past 2 years, just finished up my sophomore year there. Um, and, like what I take away from City College is that we didn't have anything. We don't even have our own field, as everybody knows. We have to share Fairmont with St. Ignatius High School. Boo. Big rival.
Yeah,
Um,
don't need them.
yeah, don't like them. Um, we share the field with them, and man, the past 2 years we have faced a lot of adversity at City. It's been really rough. Reputation, if everybody knows, kind of isn't the best. We don't have all the fancy facilities that Kenyatta or Chabot or CSM or Skyline has. We don't have big bounce backs coming to our school. What I will say is that even though we don't have the facilities, we struggle, with our program. What I will say that we do have is that the players that play at City, they want to change the culture there. They want to change the narrative, and they're just gritty, scrappy, will fight, scratch, and claw all the way to the end. And like I said, we get a bad rep. You know what I mean, as the baseball program at City College, but we didn't let that affect us. We really wanted to change the narrative there, and I feel like they're going to continue to do that. And with City, I just learned that through any adversity that you face, you got to go through that adversity. You got to learn to be stronger. You got to learn to, when you go through challenges in life, what are you going to do? Are you going to get up? Or are you going to lay down? And at City, we faced a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff we had to go through the past 2 years. It was really, really tough. Um, but that didn't stop us from showing up every day. That didn't stop us from going to the park and doing what we love every single day. And like I said, our records, they show they weren't the greatest. I will say that it wasn't the best. What I can tell you about all of those guys the past 2 years that I got to share a field with, all of them never complained about we didn't have this, we didn't have that. We didn't have enough pitching machines. We didn't have any of that either. We had to share a field. We had to drive off campus. That didn't stop those guys from showing up every day and doing what they love. And what I learned at City was that no matter if you're at a program that has everything versus a program that doesn't have anything at all, it doesn't matter. Because what matters is the guys that are around you that are willing to fight with you, that are willing to get better every day, no matter the circumstances at all. And I think City just taught me to be tougher, taught me to be mentally tougher, taught me to be physically tougher. And, I felt like the coaches, they truly instilled that in us. They taught us a lot of stuff there that I, will obviously carry on to Avila. And, I feel like that was just a true testament to them of just, not really having all the facilities, not really having much, not really winning a lot of games, struggling. We still fought and we persevered through all of the adversity. And that was like the biggest thing I learned the most, was just learning to fight through the adversity, learning to just be stronger, being like, so what? Like, assistant coach Justin Trevino, shout out him. He'd always tell us, why not us, fellas? Why not us? And it's true. Why not us? When everyone counts us out, they look at us like, oh, City College, like, bad rep. They're like, man, like these guys are a doormat. You know what I mean? He was like, why not us? Shock the world. So just having that mentality of being the little guy, being looked over, being the pushover, being like, so what? We're gonna come out here and we're gonna put our best foot forward and we're gonna fight all the way to the end. And I feel like that's a trait that I'm gonna take, on with me to the next level.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome, and it's good to know that you guys took advantage of some of those hardships. Last thing, and then I have a few rapid fire that should be fun.
All right.
But last thing, and I promised myself I'd get back to it. But you did mention that you are going into Avila as a two-way player, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
What are, I guess, just general, like, what are your expectations about, going in as a two-way guy? You've done it before, obviously, but do you envision it being a little bit different, kind of being at the next level? Just overall, general two-way player expectations for yourself.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be easy. I will say that. It's gonna be very challenging. It's gonna be very tough. Just my expectations is that I'm also just really excited to get to work too. Just they do have a lot of two-way guys there as well. So not being the only two-way guy there, that'll be great. Um, but mainly how I feel is I'm just excited. I'm really just excited to get the opportunity to continue the two-way. Not like I said, not many guys are blessed with having that ability to do that. And mainly just how I feel about it is just excited to get the opportunity. And like I told Coach Carpenter, um, all I wanted was an opportunity. That's all I wanted. And so, with them giving me the opportunity to two-way, I have to make the most of it. And that's what I have to do. And like I said, this whole entire summer, I feel like I've been putting my best foot forward. I feel like I've been grinding a lot and sharpening my toolbox so that day one, when I get there, they finally see me and they're like, wow, like Jordan, like, right, like he's legit, you know, and, like this whole entire fall coming up is going to be very, very important because I believe first impressions, they last very long. And I feel like if I can make that really good first impression as a two-way and really show them what I can do and I believe in myself to do it as well, I think I'll be fine. But mainly how I feel, I'm just excited to get the opportunity, man. I'm just excited for the opportunity. I'm very blessed.
Awesome. So I do have some rapid fire. You don't have to answer them super quick. You could kind of
All
take your
right.
time with them. You could do whatever you want with them. I just say rapid fire because I need a name for them.
All good.
First off, if you were not trying to be a baseball player, what would you be doing?
Golfing.
Okay. Why?
Yep.
Next best
Golfing.
thing, huh?
Why? Well, I've been golfing since I was probably about maybe give or take 7, 8 years old or so. Still do to this day. Not as much, obviously, because I have a lot of commitment to baseball. But if I didn't play baseball, I'd be golfing. That is one thing I'd be doing. I enjoy golfing. I love being out there in the links. I love being out there in nature. And golfing is one of my favorite hobbies to do outside of baseball. It's one of the things that I do a lot of when I have the time to. So golfing definitely would be something if I was doing if I didn't play ball.
Fantastic. I gotta get golfing more because my swing for I thought it would be more like baseball. It's not.
Yeah,
So the
definitely
first
not.
time first time I went to Top Golf, I'll have to send you the video. It was kind of rough. So
Yeah.
it's gonna get fixed, believe me. All right, number two. If you were to trade places with any big leaguer, who would it be?
That's
Another
a
loaded one.
that is a question. Ooh, past or present?
Past or present.
Wow, I gotta think about that. Trade places. Hmm.
I think I
Yeah,
would be Derek Jeter. I'll give you my
maybe
answer. Mine would be Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter. Okay, for me, honestly, I'd probably have to go with Buster Posey. You
Who's
know,
kind of like Derek Jeter in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I would say so too. Just all the history he was a part of, no hitters, perfect games, World Series, like just, being NL Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger Awards, Gold Gloves, like all the pitchers, that he's caught, Hall of Fame pitchers he's caught over the years. And I would say him. I would say him. That's, just thinking about that question, I can't think of anyone that I would rather be than him, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good one. Number three, what's the current TV show or movie that you're binging?
Current TV show or movie that I'm binging.
I
Hmm.
guess you can't really binge movies, so or a movie you
Yeah.
watched, whatever you want to answer with.
Current TV show. We'll go with TV show. I would say The Flash. The Flash. I love The Flash. I'm big into the superheroes and the villains in the comic world. I've been watching The Flash past couple years ever since it came out. I've always wanted to be. I'm not. You know me. I'm not very fast myself. I've always dreamed of having, some speed on the diamond, and in general, I really love The Flash. So I would say The Flash is one of my favorite shows to watch.
Okay. Yeah, good answer, good answer. Number four, if you had a free plane ticket to go anywhere in the world, where are you going?
Oh,
You don't have to pay anything. Free plane ticket on behalf of RizzoCast.
okay.
Not that we had the budget for that, but
Yeah, yeah. It's a loaded question. There's a lot of places I love to travel. Yeah, I would say probably Paris. Probably Paris. would be that's definitely on the bucket list. If I had a free plane ticket to go anywhere, Paris would probably be my first answer.
Nice. You got the Olympics coming there soon too.
Exactly. I love the vibe, the food there is great. Eiffel Tower, of course, Um, I've heard a lot of I know a lot of people that have been to Paris and I've heard nothing but great things about it, family members that have been there. So I would say yeah, Paris would probably be one on that list.
That's a good one. All right. Last one. Favorite ballpark food. You're at a baseball stadium. Okay. This actually maybe is two questions.
Hmm.
Favorite ballpark food and favorite Oracle Park food. Because it's got to be
Ooh,
separated a little bit because I know you might have different answers. So do favorite ballpark food first.
okay. Favorite ballpark food.
It could be the same, maybe. I don't know.
Shockingly enough, it is. I'd say garlic fries.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I would say garlic fries, and the only reason why I do is obviously I'm spoiled with AT&T Park with having the best garlic fries ever that I've ever had, and every time I go to a game, it's a must, no matter what. It's a must. And shockingly enough, yeah, I would pick garlic fries over having a dog at the game. That might be controversial to some people. Hey, don't come after me, but I have to be honest. The garlic fries are just, they hit so different. And I would say that's my favorite ballpark food. And I would say, as far as, Oracle Park goes as well, that would be my favorite food. Now, I would say, interestingly enough, when I went to Kauffman Stadium, I didn't get to try any food there. But I did see they had some barbecue there and they had some other stuff there that looked pretty good. So, I'll have to get back to you on there to figure out what maybe my favorite food would be there at Kauffman
Next
Stadium,
time.
Kansas
Yep.
City, for sure. I'll be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I mean, garlic fries is a must. I think it's a staple. I think so. So
Yeah.
garlic fries.
No doubt. Jordan, well, I kept you for way too long. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I just want to say, man, I've been watching a little bit from afar, and I'm very proud of what you're doing. It's really awesome to see someone that I played with do big things. And just from listening to you throughout this interview, I know that you have the mentality to do really good things at your next stop with Avila. So it's really awesome watching you from afar, and I can't wait to check out the box scores after every game.
All righty, man. Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate that, a lot. Thank you for having me on. And like I said, hopefully we can do another episode in the future or at the end of the
Absolutely.
fall or something, do a little check-in. I'd be down for that too, man. Just, shoot me a text, call me, whatever. I'm definitely be down to come back on the show. But yeah, man, I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk with you. It's been fun. It's always great to chop it up with you. I know it's been a while, and like I said, we definitely keep in touch. But yeah, man, I'm excited, and for this next opportunity at Avila, and I'll make sure to represent Reardon well. I'll make sure to represent the Bay and SF well, and make my parents proud, make my family proud, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to get to work.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And you probably saw the text when I texted, and you're like, Rizzo. So,
Yeah, I
so
seen that. No, bro, I still have your number saved, so I knew
yeah,
exactly who it was. Yes, sir.
perfect. Well, I appreciate that. Again, appreciate you coming on the show. Anybody could go ahead and follow you. Do you want to plug yourself a little bit? Where can
Yeah,
people
yeah,
find
yeah.
you?
So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, J.Renteria22. That's Renteria. Twitter, J capital R Renteria 22. You could find me on there, and
I see you sometimes on there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can follow me on there. I'll be posting clips and stuff on Twitter, as much as I can. I got some stuff on there from, summer ball. If you wanna keep up with me, those are my main two social medias that I use. But yeah.
good stuff. And everybody could follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at RizzoCast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, wherever you find your podcast. Go check it out. YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for listening. More to come, and see you next time.